Today we're going to start with just a little bit of a review. You're going to solve 2 problems with your partner. If it helps you to write the little sentence like what we were doing at my table, that's totally fine. But I want you to round 98 to the nearest 10, and then I want you to round 152 to the nearest 10 with your partner. Okay? When both of you are done, put one hand on your head. That way I know that you've done both problems. Got it? Go. Okay. I walked around. I saw a lot of you had 98 done pretty clearly. All right, Lucy's going to walk us through. Remember to put the marker, not your elbow. What's the first thing we need to do? Nope. There you go. Back up, Cheyenne. Edith's fishing on you over. She's going to underline the 10. That's important. It helps your brain remember, hey, nearest 10, 10, 10. So she's going to point at the which place, Lucy? 10's place, because we're rounding to the nearest 10. It's being weird. It's okay. Looks like she's getting ready to draw her number line now. I like it. Nicely done. First number is going to be we know it's going to be 9, but we know that 9 really means 90, which means her other number is going to be 100. Lucy, how did you figure out that your other number was going to be 100?
Because it's closer to another one. Because 90 is closer to 180.
Someone want to add on to what Lucy said? How did she figure out that 100 was going to be her far end point? Susie, how did she know that?
Because it says round to the nearest 10, and then the number line is 10 long.
Yeah. So your number line, Lucy, is only 10 numbers big because you're rounding to the nearest 10. It would be silly for you to go 90 to 1,000. Is that 10 numbers? No. All right, keep going, Lucy. She's figuring out where to put 98. Awesome. Keep going. I see some good number jumps. I know it does weird things. All right, distance between 2, 8. What's going to be our number that it rounds to? 98 rounds to the nearest 10 is 100. Round of applause, Lucy. How about my endpoint changed when I'm rounding a 3-digit number? How are my endpoints going to change? A lot of you have done this problem already. How are my endpoints going to change? That needs to be quiet on the ground. With a 3-digit number, because now I'm doing 152. McKenna, how are my endpoints going to change?
It's going to change because if you have like 152, then it's
the marker should be flat on the ground.
On this side will be 150 because there's a 5 in the middle and you can't get rid of that.
Yes. So when we're doing our number lines, we're still looking at the nearest 10. That doesn't change. I'm still pointing to the 10's place. What digit is in the 10's place? 5, which we know really means 50. That doesn't change. However, kind of like what McKenna said, because we're doing a 3-digit number, my endpoints have to be 3 digits long. I can't just ignore the fact that I'm starting at 152, so my endpoints are going to be 150. Let's get me my other endpoint. Think about how long your number line has to be. Parker, what's it going to be? 160. How did you figure that out, Parker?
Because it's 10 spaces long.
Because it's 10 spaces long. This is why that number is so important. Not only does it tell you what number to look at in your first number, what digit to look at, but it tells you how big your number line has to be. Natalie, come put up 1 152 and do our number jumps so we can figure out what 152 rounds to? Do we see the mistakes over there? No, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just asking you to see. Does that make sense? Yeah. Watch your sweater. Alright, she put 152 pretty close to 150. That makes sense to me. She's going to do some number jumps all the way to her endpoint. And then another number jump. And 152 round to the nearest 10 is going to be 150. Circle it, please. Awesome. Beautiful. Round of applause. Alright, so rounding 3 digits to the nearest 10. I want you to erase your board, put your materials back, whatever you were in charge of, that's what you get rid of. And I want you to write this in your math notebook. We're going to put it in our math notebook together, please. Go through it together. What is my first step? It is always the same, no matter what it says. First step is to do what? Caitlin? Underline the 10. It seems repetitive now, but once I start throwing in tens and hundreds, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So please, underline the 10, because that tells you that we need to be looking in what place, Courtney? Look at where you underline. We underlined the 10, so what place are we going to look at? The 10, and the digit that's in the tens is a 2. Now, Courtney, does that 2 really just mean 2?
Yeah, it means 20.
It means 20. That's part of being in the tens place. Draw my number line. I know my first number is probably going to have something to do with 20. Now, does it make sense, Eva, if I'm rounding 323, does it make sense to start my number line at 20?
No.
No. What number do you think I should start with?
320.
Beautiful, yeah. Because I'm in 300s, I can just kind of throw that over here to be 320. I'm not going to start my number line at 20 if I have to go all the way to 300. Holy moly, that'll be forever. How big is my number line going to be? How big is it going to be? Right here?
10.
How do you know?
Because it says it's in place when you jump up 10.
Yeah, we're rounding to the nearest 10, so my number line's only going to be 10 numbers big. So if my first endpoint is 320, what's going to be my second endpoint? Natalie?
330.
330. Beautiful. Any questions on how I got my endpoints? Give me a thumbs up if you are good with me. I know exactly what you're doing, Miss Miller. Thumbs in the middle. I don't know what you're talking about. Thumbs down, Miss Miller. I am in outer space. Gabriella, I need you to get out of outer space and come with us. That's fine. Alright, we're going to keep moving on. Now I need to put 323 on my number line. Is it going to go closer to 320? Closer to 330? In the middle? Where is it going to go? Mason, where's 323 going to go? Closer to 320. I think maybe about here. Is that good? Sure. Next step. What's our next step, Brian? Number jumps to what?
320 and 330.
Yeah, we always number jump back to my endpoint. Why do I have you do number jumps? What's the point of number jumps, Gabriella?
It makes you remember how you did it.
Not quite. Why would I have you do number jumps? What do those number jumps do for you? Kaylin? How? Sit or stand, not both. Yeah, number jumps help us figure out which one's going to be closer because we're figuring out the distance. Good use of signals, Courtney. What's going to be my distance from 320 to 323? Parker? It doesn't take 10 numbers to get from 320 to 323. 3 numbers, beautiful. What about from 323 all the way to 330, McKenna?
7.
7. Which one is going to be closer? Georgiana, which endpoint is closer?
The 320.
320, which means 323 rounded to the nearest 10 is going to be what number, Cheyenne? 320. Not too bad. It's very similar to rounding 2-digit numbers. You just got to add that hundreds place back in. Yeah. Not too tricky, huh? Alright. I want you to round 323 to the nearest 100. Write that sentence in your notebook. We'll do it together. What's going to change? If I'm rounding, we just did 323 to the nearest 10. We just did that same number right here. And we figured out 323 to the nearest 10 is 320. What's going to change when I round to the nearest 100? Dylan, what do you think is going to change?
It's going to change because 323 is going to be run to the 300s.
Yeah, so we're going to definitely be looking at the hundreds place, not the tens. What else is going to change? Okay, so how big is our number line going to be?
100.
Yeah, our number line this time is going to be a distance of 100, not just 10. Let's do it together. First step. It's the same first step. What's our first step, Lucy?
Our first step is to underline the 100.
Now we're going to underline the 100. This is why it's important to do this. I have to point back to my number. Which place am I going to point back to now? Damien?
We're going to point to the 300.
The 300. I'm pointing to that first 3, which is in the hundreds place. Make my number line. If I'm writing, you're writing. Write my 3 down, because that's the digit that I'm pointing at. That 3 doesn't just mean 3, does it, Cord? No, what does that 3 really mean in that place? 300. This is the part that every third grader, I shouldn't say every third grader, a lot of third graders mess up. What's going to be my other endpoint? A lot of third graders mess this up because we've been doing rounded to the nearest 10 so much. Emma, what do you think it's going to be? It's tricky. Is not going to be 600. McKenna, or McKenna, Courtney, sorry McKenna, I was looking at Courtney but thinking your own name. 400? How do you know it's going to be 400? Okay. What am I rounding to, Courtney? To the nearest what? 100. I'm rounding to the nearest 100, which means my number line this time has to be 100 numbers big. So if my first endpoint was 300, then my second endpoint is going to be 400. Maybe if I get my marker right, there it goes. Now, we have not been having to put benchmark numbers on our number lines because most of us can figure out what the middle of a 10-digit number line is. When we start messing with hundreds, it gets a little tricky. Do you remember what benchmark numbers are? It's been a while since we've talked about benchmark or friendly numbers. What are benchmark numbers or friendly numbers? Here, what are those?
There are numbers that you can think of in your mind facts.
Yeah.
Like an even number.
Usually they're even or just friendly in terms of they make our brain happy. Like, is 1,412 a benchmark number?
No.
No, I cannot mess with that number very easily in my head. That's too tricky.
500.
We're going to figure out the middle benchmark number. We have a number line between 300 and 400. What's going to be my middle number? This is sometimes tricky to do. Gabriella, do you know what the middle number of 300 and 400 is?
Yes, ma'am.
Go for it.
It is 300.
It is not 323. That is not my middle number.
325.
That is not my middle number. Stop guessing. Stop guessing. Damien, do you know what it is? It is 350. Put your benchmark number in there. One way that I use to figure out which is going to be the middle is I think a lot about money. So if I had 100, I'm going to pretend that instead of 100, I have $1, because those kind of look the same.
Yes.
Very close. If I want to split $1 between two people, me and Cheyenne were splitting $1, Cheyenne is going to get 50 cents, and I'm going to get 50 cents. Just like if I split 100, it's going to be 50 on one side and 50 on the other. So if you're having a hard time figuring out what the middle number is, try and think about it in something that you're familiar with, like money. That's what I use. You can use whatever makes your brain happy. I don't care. Alright, now that we have a benchmark number, now we have to actually put 323 on the number line. Where is it going to go? Is it going to go between 300 and 350? 350 to 400? Is it going to go, I don't know. Where is this number going to go? Kaylin, where's this number going to go?
It's going to go closer to 300.
I like how you thought about that. She said, I know it's going to be close to 300, and it's definitely going to be in this range, right? And she said 323 is kind of close to 320, 330, kind of using what we just talked about. So we think it's probably going to go close to the middle. Go ahead and write that down in your notebook. It's going to be somewhere in between 300 and 350, like a mini number line. Now, here's another part that a lot of third graders mess up. The next part, we have to do our number jumps, right? Do you number jump to a benchmark number?
No.
No, you number jump to what, Lucy? An endpoint. So 323 jump to 300. 323 jump all the way to 400.
323 to 400 is 87.
Alright, now we gotta do some math.
Oh, man.
300 to 323, that should be a pretty easy one to solve. 300 to 323, what's that distance? If you want to solve it out, we could always subtract. 3 minus 0. 3. 20 minus 0. 20. 3 minus 3.
0.
What's the distance?
23.
23. Zeros make my life a little easier. Alright, now some of you know that I do not really like to subtract. I'll subtract there, that's easy subtraction. But I don't like to do complicated subtraction.
Yes.
So instead what I do is I add on. Just like how we've been counting on. Now I'm not going to count on 323 all the way to 400. I'll be counting for forever. But I'm going to count on using some easy numbers. So I'm going to start at 23. Oh, 323. What's the first easy number that I come to if I'm just counting on? Court?
7.
You're jumping ahead of yourself. What's the first easy number that I come to? 323 to 3. You could do 25, or you could do 330 is I think what you were thinking. How many does it take me to get to 330? 7. Now I'm at an easy, easy number. Raise your hand if you're a master at skip counting by tens. Me too. I'm going to just keep adding 10 to 330 until I get to 400. Do this in your notebook with me. 330 plus 10 is what? 330 plus 10 is what?
340. 340. 350.
Alright, we did a lot of math, but it was easy math. Now here's the trick. This is why I like it better than tricky subtraction. Some of you are thinking, holy moly, Miss Miller, I just had to write a bunch of numbers. That doesn't seem easy. This is why I like it. Now I can go back through and count my tens. Skip count with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 77. What's going to be my distance from 323 to 400?
77.
Sam?
377.
It's not 377, it's just 77. So that way it has a little more paperwork, but I just feel like skip counting is way easier than subtracting. Fair enough? Please make sure you have your equation in your notebook.